Hey guys, it's everyone here, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to StapleSpeaks. It's the weekly series I do where it's just me and the camera talking about football. Now, if you may remember, I did a video called Every Premier League Club's Worst Player's Best Moment. We're going to be looking at the exact opposite. We're going to be looking at every best Premier League club's best player's worst moment. Now, I know that this is going to be a bit controversial as the picks I have picked, I believe, are the best players on the team. And let me just say that this is not in relation to just the season, it's overall quality. Now, I'm going to be looking at every best Premier League, at all the best Premier League clubs, and the newly promoted teams as well are going to be there for the first time in a StapleSpeaks. And also, the moments I have chosen, there are literally no rules for this. It could be a moment on the pitch, it could be a moment off the pitch, it could even be a moment in relation to football, but it's not on the pitch. It could even be just a random moment that happened to the player in relation with a fan. We are literally gonna go all out. But with that said, let's get into this big project. Now we're going to be starting with Arsenal. We're going to be going in alphabetical order as always. And I'm starting with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang because he is the best player at Arsenal. He is literally the only person keeping them in at least in the top half of the table, to be honest. And I have gone for his miss versus Hoffenheim. This is just abysmal. The ball gets crossed and huge mistake by Oliver Baumann. It's an open goal. He has a free header and he somehow misses it. And the best part about it is that even he knows that he's missed an absolute sitter. He just runs away just laughing and with his hands in his head. And it's absolutely hilarious because he's one of the best strikers for Dortmund, for Arsenal, for anyone. And a miss like that, that's really unconditional for someone like him. Now next up, Aston Villa, we've got Jack Grealish. He is the best player at Aston Villa. I think we can all accept it. And now this is the first time I'm going to be pushing outside football because I'm going to be talking about Grealish breaching lockdown. I could have gone for when he decided to absolutely betray the Republic of Ireland and play for England. But I have gone for him breaching lockdown because what are you doing, sir? You are a professional footballer and you decide to go for a party during lockdown in a deadly pandemic. That is an absolutely mad thing. It's like he wants the Irish guy to mug him off 5 times a week. It's absolutely crazy. And then to get it even worse, he gets absolutely knackered on the night out and then crashes his Range Rover. What did he do right in that time? If I'm being honest, I seriously think that for a punishment, every player who breached lockdown, yes, that includes Callum Hudson-Odoi, that includes any Chelsea player who did it, anyone, they should have been told to sit out when the Premier League re-began. It's just such a huge crime. And as a professional footballer, you should not feel entitled. You shouldn't feel that the rules, you are above the rules just because you kick a ball. Now next up we have Brighton and I've gone with Lewis Dunk. I mean, there were quite a few ones. I could have even gone for maybe a little more unorthodox like a Jose Izquierdo, but I think really Matt Ryan is the closest person. But I've gone for Lewis Dunk. He's a pretty good centre back. He's a quality centre back, a one club man, very loyal to Brighton. But he did also score the most own goals in a season. It's a very unfortunate record to have. And he equaled Martin Skrtel out of all people. He equaled his record. And it's kind of sad because Lewis Dunk, he is a good mid-table centre-back. He is a good hard-hitting. He's like a budget Van Dijk. Like he is a person who they can anchor a defense around. And for Brighton's ball-playing style, he actually is a very good centre-back. And it's kind of sad that he has this record over his name. Now next up, Burnley, we have Nick Pope. Now I've gone for when he was second string at Charlton. Not to say that was a pretty bad moment in his career, it's just that couldn't find anything for him. He is a pretty consistent goalkeeper. and he will always give you a solid performance. He's always going to make a few good saves, and he's going to keep you in the game. I have gone for his Charlton run because he went on loan 6 times in a championship club, so that's not really a good thing, is it? Again, other than that, not really a lot I could find, but after that, he crafted out a pretty good career, and no one would have predicted when he was at Charlton that he would be starting for a top half Premier League team under someone like Sean Dyche, which is, I mean, Nick Pope is not the first goalkeeper you'll think of when you think of Wolves. Sean Dyche, Joe Hart and Tom Heaton are the first 2 names that pop off of the top of my head, and they did play for Burnley. But Nick Pope is not, because Nick Pope is the very new ball-playing keeper, and it is pretty happy to see that he has carved himself a good career in the Premier League. Now it's time for my club, Chelsea. I have gone for N'Golo Kante because of the fact that he's a World Cup winner and he's done so much, and he's possibly the best holding midfielder in the world on his day. And I have not gone for a moment related to him. It's a moment related to him, but it's definitely not him, because, come on, N'Golo Kante is an absolutely saint player who doesn't really do a lot wrong. And I have gone for that Middlesbrough fan who tweeted in 2010 to Middlesbrough to scout N'Golo Kante when he was still in France's 2nd tier. And he wasn't even standing out at that time. And this is just the funniest thing, because the club even responds to him. The club says, yeah, we'll take it, we'll look at him, we'll see. And you know that they're just gonna bin that tweet the moment they see it, because they thought it was just gonna be a little laugh. 6 years later, he is the holding midfielder and the soul of a Premier League winning side. And oh god, Middlesbrough really should be feeling bad about themselves, because they just squandered possibly the best signing they could have ever had. Next up, we've got Crystal Palace. I mean, there's only one person, right? It's Wilfred Zaha. Of course it is. The man should not be at Crystal Palace. He's so much better than them. But I have gone for time when there was speculations that he was dating David Moyes' daughter, and it's a pretty easy choice. That is possibly the weirdest moment that's ever happened in Manchester United. Not history, I won't say that, but definitely during the youth academy. The entire interview where he said that he wasn't picked because he was dating the daughter. It's an absolute madness of an interview. That entire interview needs to be clubbed into this segment, because God almighty, that is it's simultaneously the funniest yet weirdest 5 minutes I have ever seen of an interview. Now, Everton. I have gone for Richarlison. Now, if Wayne Rooney was still at the club, that would have been a pretty easy choice, but he isn't, so I've gone for Richarlison, and I have gone for his first season in the Premier League, 2017-18 season. Lord almighty, this is a sad season for him. 5 goals in 38 games as a striker is laughable. It is laughably bad. And he was supposed to be the promising player. He was like, and then everyone started saying, oh, you know, this man can't do anything. Then suddenly Everton come for him. £50 million. 50 million used to buy you David Beckham, but now it's just buying you a bang average striker. But then we found out, no, that he wasn't bang average. He was just having a woeful season. And the reality of the fact is that he is a pretty good mid-table striker. Maybe not currently what Everton needs right now, but still a pretty good striker. The first newly promoted team, we're talking about Fulham. Now, another London club, and they are direct rivals of Chelsea. And God, I think Alexander Mitrovic has to be here. Like, even in the Premier League, he was blowing it up for like the first few months, but then suddenly he just dropped off. I don't really know what exact moment to choose. You know what? Let's just club in every single red card he has ever had in the Premier League. Seriously, this man is a Serbian Duncan Ferguson. This man comes on just to head in balls and gets sent off. It is absolutely insane. Look no further than his Premier League debut. 22 seconds in, he gets a yellow card for absolutely clattering Matt Target. Oh, you want to talk about that? 20 days later, in the Emirates, in a very important game for Newcastle, 15th minute, he goes and clatters Francis Coquelin in the back of his leg, which is just, why are you doing this in such an important game? Oh, and if you think that's where I'm stopping, let's go to the final day of the season when Newcastle were all but relegated, and this is a 5-1 win against Tottenham where he even scored. But no, he gets red carded for absolutely kicking Kyle Walker into another dimension. Let's not forget when he was at Fulham in the Premier League and he got red carded for elbowing Manuel Lanzini in the face. It's just, this man gets red cards like absolutely nothing. This man gets more red cards than most defenders do, and it's just an absolute madness. Now next up we have the second Premier League team that was promoted, Leeds United. Now, I mean, there aren't really any standout people, and to be honest, the Leeds squad is pretty bang average, but I have gone for Pablo Hernandez. He's a pretty good player. I've seen him play. He was a pretty good player in Spain as well, but I have gone for his Arabian escapades when he just went to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Like, really, it's just his seasons in Arabia. It's just really sad that players go for money in places like Saudi Arabia and the UAE where really there's not a lot of competition. There's just nothing really for them to do over there, and that is just a pretty sad part of your career if you're going to have to go to a league just due to the money where you're not going to get any sort of competition, which is truly what you should be pursuing. Now next up, Leicester. This is another pretty easy one. Jamie Vardy. Now, I almost forgot that this happened, but there was a racism controversy with Jamie Vardy. I think this happened maybe the season after or the season when they won the Premier League, but he was caught gambling, and which is already a pretty bad start for a Premier League footballer, more specifically a Premier League Golden Boot winning striker. And he was caught gambling and he was just spewing racist terms, and it's just not good, is it? Racism is something that needs to be out of the game, and if Premier League footballers are being seen doing this stuff, why are they being allowed to play? Just why? I don't care how good you are. If you're racist, just get out of my game. Now, Liverpool. Again, I could choose Salah, I could choose Mane, and I could even just choose Firmino for the meme. But I am gonna go Virgil van Dijk. I would love to have this man at Chelsea. I would have loved to have him because he's that ball-playing defender that we really need. However, there's one moment that sticks out in the top of my head, because I remember seeing this when researching every Premier League club's best goals. I remember when researching this video, I saw this video of Gylfi Sigurdsson when Virgil van Dijk was at Southampton. Gylfi Sigurdsson fake-shotting and sending Virgil van Dijk sliding into next week. And as a defender, that is just not good, is it? And then Sigurdsson absolutely unleashes the thunderbolt. It really could have been my best goal for Everton, but I decided to go for another one because really, I don't want that video on the internet, because that is just an esteem killer. That just kills your image if as a defender you are caught sliding for a ball and then you don't even get the player or the ball. You just continue sliding and you get absolutely fake shotted. And it's sad because Virgil van Dijk usually is very sure-headed, but as you can see in his old Southampton days, he wasn't always the defender he is currently at Liverpool. Manchester City. Again, I could have gone for Sergio Aguero. I maybe could have even gone Raheem Sterling. but I have gone Kevin De Bruyne. He is by far the best midfielder in the world for me, and he just pips. He's possibly one of the best Belgian players of all time. And I have gone for a post he made during the Special Olympics in 2014. Now, he was an ambassador for the event, so that's a good thing. You know, he's supporting charity. That's a good thing. We like that. But he promoted something on his Instagram which showed him as a patient of Down syndrome, and it said, "Would you support me if I looked like this?" Honest to God, that is possibly one of some of the worst choice of words you could have picked for something like that. I understand that the Special Olympics were being broadcasted in Belgium, and you know, the Special Olympics aim at trying to empower differently abled people. That's just not a sensitive post. I guess that he was maybe trying to make it look like he's trying to empower them, but it just comes off as a bit insensitive for people with differently abled people. It's just not that sensitive. Next up, Manchester United, and I am going Bruno Fernandes because he's literally the only reason they're doing well right now. And this is actually a pretty sad one. I'm going to the Taças de Portugal final 2017. This is, I think, their version of the FA Cup or the League Cup. It's their cup competition. So in the final, as Sporting, the team disappears. They do really badly and they lose to Boa Vista, which is, Boa Vista are just not that big, right? They never even reach international competitions, and they lost. But the worst thing is that the day after that, their rest day, the day they were trying to recover, fans of Sporting attacked the training ground, and it's a shameful piece of fan interaction, and they have no right to go to the training ground and try and sort and they try to pursue these players and then try and attack them, and that is just, there needs to be something. I'm pretty sure nothing was done on the fans. I think some were charged for trespassing and that's it, but it's just really a really sad moment and just shows how passionate some football ultras are. Now, Newcastle United, I have gone for Martin Dubravka. He's a pretty good mid-table goalkeeper. He does pretty well, he makes some good saves in the game, and more overall, he acts as a pretty good leader. However, there was the Jan Kozak incident. Now, if you don't know who Jan Kozak is, he is the Slovakian national team. He was the Slovakian national team's longest reigning coach, and he was there for around 4 to 5 years, and he was able to do some good things for the team. However, the day they lost a game in Euro 2020 qualifying to the Czech Republic, Dubravka and multiple other Slovakian players were caught partying after hours. It wasn't confirmed that they were partying, but they were definitely up after hours after the loss. And Kozak caught them, and it caused him to resign because he said that he couldn't handle if the players were being so insensitive and players were being just not caring for the Slovakian national team, which I totally understand. It's just, yeah, there are rules and you need to follow them if you are on international duty. Sheffield United. Now, this is a bit of a controversial one, but I have gone for Billy Sharp. I really don't think anyone else currently right now in the Sheffield United team is at the level at Billy Sharp, because Billy Sharp is in the top English goal scorer of the 21st century, overtaking Ricky Lambert out of all people. I even made a video on it. But yeah, at a top half Premier League team, it's pretty surprising to see a journeyman like Billy Sharp on this list. But I'm going for the time he was transfer listed when he was at Sheffield United for the second time, after a season where he scored 4 goals in 24 games. Now, I understand Billy Sharp hasn't scored a lot of goals this year, but overall I think he is the exact leader Sheffield United need to take them to the next level. Southampton, Danny Ings is a pretty obvious choice over here because he's been doing so well for them and it's been incredible. But I have wondered for the time when he went 2 years without a goal as a striker. Now I understand that those years were because of injury and also factoring the fact that he was playing for Liverpool and people like Benteke and Sturridge, God almighty, they were being picked over him. And it's pretty sad because even then when he joined, he was a very good striker. He's a good mid-table striker and it just looked like he was a bit out of his depth over there. And when the most memorable moment of you at Liverpool is when 4-4-2s make you look like Luis Fonsi, that's a pretty standout moment for your career in terms of the horrible scale. Spurs, again, pretty easy one. Harry Kane, because God, this man is England's captain, Golden Boot winner at the World Cup, and yeah, he is England's number 9 right now. He is the English striker of the decade, and I have gone for that time. He went in goal against, I'm pretty sure I have to read this, Asterisk, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a random Cyprian team that they faced in the Europa League, and he had to go and goal because Lloris got sent off. They were pretty comfortably winning. Kane goes in goal and he absolutely whiffs the free kick. The free kick's coming straight at him, and instead of collecting it in his hands with the body behind him, he just lets it go. It's just, why? If you knew that person could not jump at the ball, why are you sticking him in goal? It just makes no sense. He's not even that tall. West Bromwich Albion, the third promoted team. I have gone for Matheus Pereira, who is a pretty good holding midfielder. I have seen some good footage of him, but I have gone for the time that he just freaked out on social media. So he was at Sporting alongside Pablo Hernandez, and he was loaned to Nuremberg in Germany. And this is the season when they were in the Bundesliga and then immediately went down. He criticized the Sporting manager for not picking him over Twitter before he moved on to Nuremberg. I think number one thing for any professional footballer to do is obviously take the game seriously, but number two, the manager is the person who's picking you. The manager is literally the person who decides whether you have a career or not. Maybe it's not the best thing to try and curse him out over social media, or is that just me? West Ham, I have gone for Philippe Anderson. Now, obviously, the move that made Philippe Anderson the global star was the move from his to Lazio, and I have gone for the deal itself because, I mean, I read about this when it actually came out because I do remember him as this huge prospect, but that was just 1 week of awful negotiation. His agents, so basically, I'll try and explain this in the best way possible. So Philippe Anderson and his agent were trying to get this move to Lazio. However, this third party, who the agent was working for, they were the people who had the final say. It took them 1 week of saying no to say yes. Almost all the time, almost every day as well, the deal would almost go through. They literally just had to sign, then the agents will stop the deal, make them go back to the drawing board and get not even more money for them. He'll just want the deal to go again. It's just, why? It makes no sense to me. Last we have Wolves. I have gone for Raul Jimenez. He's been incredible for Wolves, but I do remember when he moved to Atletico Madrid. He was tearing up Mexico and he was this huge prospect, but then he moved to Atletico and nearly ruined his career. He played absolutely none, and thank God that it was just a diversion, because It could have been worse. It really could have been worse if he stayed. But thank the Lord, Wolves came in and saved his career because he is a good striker. He is a perfect mix between a person who can dribble and a person who can head the ball. And that is what people really need from a striker. That's exactly what I want when I think of a striker. My ideal striker is someone who can dribble at the defense, but he can also head a ball in. But anyway, to the outro. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like, please like, share and subscribe if you are new to the channel. I really hope that you like this because it took me quite a while to make. But yeah, StapleSpeaks are back as a weekly thing. But anyway guys, until the next episode, peace.